So, first of all, let's talk about this entire Ice Spice and Arrogant Tear situation. Now, you guys know that there have always been whispers with regards to the relationship between Arrogant Tear and Nicki Minaj, with a lot of people noticing that it doesn't appear like they are as close as they used to be, and also picking up that even working together, they haven't been working together as much as they used to back in the day. Now, that being said, on top of that, people also felt like when Ice Spice and Nicki Minaj kind of fell out, Tear took Ice Spice's side, given that during the time when Ice Spice was being disrespectful and shady towards Nicki Minaj, when she was sort of like imitating Nicki Minaj in a way that appeared to be more provocation than admiration. Tay was the one who was actually doing her hair, especially after that fallout with her hairstylist, who also revealed that, in fact, she would go to this said hairstylist with pictures of Nicki Minaj demanding hairstyles that looked like hers. That was also right around the time when Ice Spice dropped her song BB Belt, where she was basically imitating a Nicki Minaj flow, meanwhile not addressing the text that had been made public by her friends. So people were kind of questioning, is this really her being respectful, taking inspiration, or is she trying to provoke Nicki Minaj? Because how are you out there imitating someone's flow, someone's hairstyle, someone's video style? Meanwhile, you're acting like you're bigger than apologizing after disrespecting an icon like that. So people looked at that whole entire BB Belt song as her being disrespectful because she hadn't addressed anything. And people do believe that given that she also does work with James, who used to work with Nicki Minaj, they must have been in her head that you're going to be the next Nicki Minaj. Now, during that time, that's when Ice Spice and Tay became very close. And I do believe on this channel, I also gave you a little bit of background on why the hairstylist slash friend situation is a sensitive situation when it comes to Nicki Minaj, given that when Advocate BBO was being brought onto the scene as a replacement, I put that in quotes, of Nicki Minaj, the first thing they did was to snatch up Nicki Minaj's old team, from the hairstylist to the glam to everything. Everyone who used to work with Nicki Minaj, they basically snatched those people from Nicki Minaj to then try and make sure that the replacement, I continue to put that in quotes, would have the same aesthetic as Nicki Minaj. Hence, obviously, when Tay and Ice Spice all of a sudden became super close and Ice Spice was out there mimicking Nicki Minaj, it felt familiar, especially for a lot of fans. Now, that being said, they have continued to grow as friends and stuff like that, to the extent that Ice Spice even attended Arrogant Tear's, birthday. And yeah, people have kind of been wondering what the situation is between Tay and Nicki Minaj, and Ice Spice and Nicki Minaj. But as for Ice Spice, Nicki never ever acknowledged her again in public, and she did go on a couple of interviews after she realized that it's not working. Well, however, they had told her it was gonna work. She tried to backtrack, tried to say, "Oh, I will always respect her," but that was way later, just when she was about to drop her album, and people kind of realized that no, man, this is just her now trying to pander back to Nicki Minaj's fan base in order for them to buy her music, and so nobody really bought that, and Nicki Minaj never also gave her the time of the day since then. And on the other hand, Tay was continuing to do his work, but Nicki has been working with different, hairstylists as well. And so that's also another relationship that people are wondering what exactly is it looking like right now. I've kind of been seeing even some lies with people saying that, oh, Nicki unfollowed Tay, they unfollowed each other. And I'm like, where are you guys seeing this? Because as far as I know, Nicki Minaj since deactivated her Instagram account way back. So where are you guys getting this whole unfollow situation? Now that I've given you context, okay, in a recent video that Arrogant Team posted, he was in the car and in the background there was Ice Spice. They were listening to a Nicki Minaj song, and of course that started a conversation about the stance when it comes to Nicki Minaj. With some people feeling like this is just the two of them sort of like trying to act Nicki Minaj, given that recently, people have been making it their point to basically mention Nicki Minaj and declare that, oh, we no longer support her because of this and that. So in a climate like this, for the two of them to actually come out here and be publicly jamming to Nicki Minaj's music, is this them trying to get back cool with Nicki Minaj, or were they always cool? Now, I will speak about Tay. I do not know about Paprika Spice, but when it comes to Tay, he has continuously been playing music. He has been continuously reposting Nicki Minaj on his page, and the last time I checked, he even still had Nicki Minaj pinned on the top of his page. So I don't know, you guys. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this entire situation. Do you think that this is them pandering, or do you think that they've always been cool, but people have been reading way too much into that relationship? Now, let's move on to the next thing that we're going to be talking about. Let us talk about Chili from TLZ. Now, Chili is being accused of posting or resharing a negative post about the former First Lady, Michelle Obama, and people are not having it. And you do know that once you get into that political side, people start digging, and so they started to dig, and they realized that, in fact, she had previously donated to the causes led by the current administration, and as expected, people were not having it, okay? People were eating her up. However, I will have to admit that in as much as they were criticizing her, the backlash wasn't as much as the other backlash that we recently experienced in as far as political choices, are concerned. And as expected, it seems like she couldn't take the heat. She had to make a statement. And I will insert that statement briefly. But in summary, she was saying that she accidentally shared that negative post and that essentially the donations that she made were to help political veterans, basically giving excuses for her own choices. And it is in that moment that I realized that, yeah, now I understand why the backlash towards Nicki Minaj had to be massive. Because just as we suspected on this channel that this was being done to teach other celebrities a lesson, I feel like this is exactly what they were doing, and this is the reaction that they wanted from celebrities who do support the Orange Men. Because deep down, I feel like in Hollywood, they know that given a choice, a lot of these celebrities they have want nothing to do with the Democratic Party because of what they have been exposed to in as far as the interactions between Hollywood, the executives, and of course the Democratic Party leaders. Of course, I'm not talking about regular folk. I'm talking about the leaders of the Democratic Party. I feel like a lot of these celebrities have probably seen what's actually going on behind the scenes, the control, the manipulation, and the usage of political leverage for Hollywood agendas and stuff like that. So they do know that deep down, a lot of these celebrities are done with the Democratic leaders, especially, and they know that once they go lenient on any celebrity who speaks up against the party, a lot of others will follow suit and publicly do so. And this is something they cannot afford because Hollywood is the stronghold of the Democrats, especially Black Hollywood. So they had to make an example of Nicki Minaj to say that to other celebrities, don't you ever dare do something like this, because then we will punish you the way that we're punishing Nicki Minaj. So all those TMZ harassment posts where they consistently and continuously ask regular people about what they think about Nicki Minaj, that's not an accident. That's strategic. That is sending a warning to other Black women or other Black celebrities to say that this is what we're going to do to you if you ever try to do something like that. So am I shocked by Chili's response to to this entire situation? Absolutely not. She's just scared. She's seen what these people are able to do and she doesn't want any parts of that. And it's very sad to see the party being drowned in Hollywood. It's rather sad, actually. And I do feel like they're also overestimating the power of celebrities when it comes to political choices. It's not the same anymore because now there's the internet and people can dig up stuff for themselves. So back in the day, Hollywood made sense because there was some form of possible gatekeeping when it comes to fame. Magazines were controlled, television was controlled, entry into Hollywood or fame, was also controlled. But now it's a different game, and in my opinion, the party is wasting its resources and time still trying to influence people through these Hollywood celebrities. It's not working, it's not going to work anymore. If anything, they should maybe pivot to try and use influencers because those are the people that people are paying attention to right now. People respect an influencer on TikTok or on Instagram who has built her own following and fan base more than they do celebrities because now people have kind of realized that Hollywood is very much curated. And if you know anything about the new generation, they do not appreciate an opinion of someone whose entire lifestyle is curated by men in suits behind the scenes. They respect independence more, they respect freedom of thought more. And so I don't know if this strategy is still worth it for the party. But yeah, let me know in the comment section what you think about this entire ordeal. Now let's move on to the hypocrisy. There's this particular person whose tweets I want us to look at side by side. And this is exactly the reason why no one takes anything seriously with the activism and fake outrage. Because when Nicki Minaj first made it public, her political choices, this is what this person had to say. His name is Jerome. He said, Nicki Minaj and anyone defending her are trash. Using Christianity to support Trump, J.D. Vance, MAGA, and Turning Point USA is a disgusting choice. These are the same T-word B she's writing for. Our existence is not up for debate. F their hypocrisy, okay? And I do believe that was also right around the time when she was speaking up about what was going on in as far as the Christians in Nigeria are concerned. So clearly this person doesn't want anything to do with the current administration. They dislike Nicki Minaj for this. At least this is what they're trying to make us believe, that their disdain for Nicki Minaj is stemming from her political choices, and there shouldn't be any excuse for supporting anyone who supports the current administration. They were very passionate about it. And if that's how they feel and if they stand on it, okay, we get it. But here is where everything gets tricky. Recently, after everything that happened with Chile, the same person, this is what they had to say. They said, yes, Chile absolutely accidentally reposted the Michelle Obama post. Chile barely knows how to flip the camera on Instagram. I've watched her in action. And as a fan of TLC, for nearly 35 years. For nearly, I think they wanted to say for nearly 35 years. Her religion causes her to lean more towards Republican, especially with their propaganda. So I'm sure she supports Trump to a degree. I've seen it based on the things she likes. That's her personal choice. And no, I'm not canceling Chile. She hasn't been loud vocal about it, perpetrating that rhetoric outright. So unless that changes, she has my support. Do you see the change in tone? Do you see why we say that we'll never rally behind people who hide behind someone's political choices to vocalize the hate that they've always had for that person? This is the exact reason why we say that we will not be canceling Nicki Minaj for her personal political choices, because after all has been said and done, it's always strict when it comes to her, because she's not out there backtracking. She's standing bold and firm in her beliefs. And because of that, people want to crucify her. And the sad thing is, if she hadn't even publicly declared that she supports the current administration, they would have still been peddling the narratives that she does, even if she wouldn't have confirmed it. So, which one is it really? Because before she even became public with her political stance, they were already calling her Maga Minaj. And that's when she was like, oh, well, F it, I might as well just make it public. And you guys turn around and we say, let's cancel her because of that. But then when somebody else is clearly supporting the same administration, it's not the same energy. So is it really about her political choices that you guys want us to cancel her? Or you just finally found something to justify your disdain for an audacious black woman? What is it? And so they went ahead, you guys. That's not that's not the end of it all. They went ahead and said, P.S. Just like Yahweh is still attending Kanye West shows and selling out his Yeezy collection after he loudly and publicly endorsed Trump and condemned all of us. And is this not the same thing we've been saying when you guys were crucifying Nicki Minaj about her political choices? The whole time you know that you're giving these men passes. You know this. But when it comes to Nicki Minaj, it doesn't matter. When it comes to any other person who appears to not want to ruffle feathers, because I see that's her biggest crime. Nicki's biggest crime is she is unapologetically herself. And I've noticed really with a lot of people when it comes to black women, you are applauded if you move in a timid manner, if you downplay your achievements, if you act scared, if you're not bold, if you're just, all over the place and not really standing for anything. People applaud you for that. The moment you dare speak up for yourself, the moment you dare be audacious and bold, you become everyone's enemy. I've noticed that with a lot of people. People don't like it when people unapologetically stand up for themselves. They like it when you're begging and crying on podcasts like Taraji. If you come and say, "Oh, I'm such a victim, pay me more for my rose," they like it. If you dare speak up like Monique, you're the problem. If you dare directly challenge the people that have been oppressing you, you're the problem. You need to beg for it. And the people that don't see anything wrong with that are the problem. Because now all of a sudden, because it's Chile, you now understand that the males have been, oh my God, I just said males. Oh, I hate it when people say females and males. But yeah, all of a sudden you're now acknowledging that the males get away with a lot of things that you guys crucify the females for, especially Nicki Minaj. It's very interesting. But let me know in the comment section, you guys, what you think about that. Oh my God, I don't know what's going on with my throat, eh? But let's wrap this video up. Still speaking about political choices. Nick Cannon is out there even saying worse. But I promise you, the backlash is not even going to be as massive as it has been for Nicki Minaj. So, recently, Nick Cannon, in conversation with Amber Rose, made a statement that the Democratic Party was originally the party of the KKK, and they are the ones that wanted to retain, slavery. And I'm saying that because I don't know if YouTube is going to like me saying words like that, but he was basically saying that they are the devil, and the internet is not happy with that. But what I cannot seem to get past is the fact that the backlash is not even as a quarter of what others are subjected to, which even further solidifies my idea that this is not even about politics. This is about seeing the influence that Nicki Minaj has and wanting to use her as an example, number one, so that no one else dares to follow. Publicly claiming the current administration. Number two, with Nicki Minaj, it's basically coming for two birds with one stone. Because remember, they've been looking to cancel her for a long time, and they've kind of been trying to use the rage of different communities to fulfill that agenda. But just like Kanye West, I do believe that her brand is global and is way too international for them to be able to just cancel her just like that. I mean, look at me. Back in Wakanda, we were still listening to Nicki Minaj growing up. So it's such a big brand that, in my own opinion, they're not able to cancel it, just like they are not able to do away with Kanye West. But that being said, let me know in the comment section, you guys, what you think about everything that we spoke about in this video. Did you guys have a beautiful weekend? Personally, I had an amazing one, and let's stay tuned for the tea that will be coming in the next video. Do not forget to subscribe, share, comment, say something in the comment section, drop something for the algorithm, and until my next one, see you.
Hey guys, I wanted to come on here to address a few things that's circulating on the internet that's very concerning to me. Let me say this first. I have the utmost respect and admiration for Michelle Obama, and I would never say or do anything that is disrespectful to her or to any woman. I would never do that. And I had no clue that this repost had happened until I started getting phone calls and text messages from everybody, and I immediately went to my page to see what was going on. Now, mind you, I'm not very computer savvy, so I'm looking for this repost button, and I see that all of these buttons are very, very close to each other. And clearly, I was scrolling, and my thumb hit the repost button. Again, I had no clue that something like this happened until I got all the calls. But of course, I took that down, and I would never post anything like that. I would never do something like that. That is not my character. I have supported the Obamas. I gave to the campaign, both runs, voted twice for him, and supported the organization that Michelle had in the schools for exercise for the kids. I would never do anything that's harmful or hateful to anybody. I'm just not wired like that. That's just not who I am. And when it comes to organizations that I have donated to, these are the things that support the veterans. I have always supported them, not just now, but for years. This is not something new. So I just wanted to let you guys know, this from me, that I would never do anything so disrespectful, and I would just never, I'm just not about hate or anything like that. If you look on my page and see my posts, it's all about love, faith, and connection. That's what I'm all about, and I've always been that way, and I will continue to be just that way. So I just want to thank you guys for,